everyone doing? Welcome
Hello.
to Top Rope Spoilers presented by On the Ring Apron. I'm Steve.
I'm Kia.
I know, you kind of disappeared for a while. I had to be reintroduced to you. You've been having to work almost every day we've been doing a show, so you've rarely been here.
I know, but guess what? I do be able to watch the shows while I'm at work underneath the, little things that are on the desk, but I have to have it on silent because the last time I had it on loud, someone was like, "Is that wrestling?" I was like, "Yeah, my husband's doing a live show."
You're like, now shush.
If you want to watch it, go to On the Ring Apron.
That's it.
Right.
But welcome to our preview show for Extreme Rules. For those of you who have never joined us before, this is where we give our preview to the pay-per-view that's coming up. By the request of so many of our followers, we found out we have a very large following in Europe, India, Russia, Australia,
Yeah.
a number of different places. So at their request, they asked if we could possibly do one where we move it up a little bit, and that's exactly what we're doing here. So we're doing one at 1 in the afternoon on a Saturday.
Yay!
Go figure. Hey, we're missing college football for this. This must mean something.
Yep.
But again, our Extreme Rules pay-per-view. We go over previews, give our predictions. Let's see how we do. The good news is it's not the horror show at Extreme Rules like it was last year. So
That-
no one's gonna lose an eye this year. Thank you, God.
That was ridiculous. That was too much of a title. Extreme Rules is enough for a title.
Yet ironically, only one Extreme Rules match on this entire pay-per-view. So it's kind of like normal rules with one exception. Come on, Vince. Hey, hashtag. You gotta pay me if you want to use that now. But hey, check out our new transitions now. Look at it. Look at the things move.
Nice.
How many of y'all caught that on the first one? Hey, I'm getting better at this thing. But a quick shout out to Zayde Wolf for "Look at Me Now." This was the official theme song of Extreme Rules this year. Thank you so much. We reached out, gave us permission to go ahead and use it. So we always like being able to throw the theme songs in there. I couldn't believe Cardi B said yes at SummerSlam. That was a shock to me. But she's like, yeah, go for it. Or
Well,
whoever represents her anyway. I don't
Yeah.
think it was her.
Well, it could be her because she does a lot of her own social media. So yeah,
True
you
that.
never know.
But let's go ahead and get into our previews here. And first, let's take a look at the scoreboard. We've had so many pay-per-views at this point of what is now known as Season 2 that we actually have to go to the second board here. Kia making up some ground in our SummerSlam double pay-per-view weekend, outscoring me 12-8 to cut a 7-point lead down to 3. So it's 33-30. I'm still ahead, but the gap is a lot closer than it was.
I remember I was sitting at work. I was like, I know this fool's probably just jumped out in front of me. I get home. I don't even get to walk through the door before our roommate and our girlfriend Alyssa tells us that I am actually 3 points behind Steve.
Yeah, I did not do well. I was able to, make up a little bit of ground at SummerSlam early, so you've only picked up one. It was TakeOver 36 where I really kind of just choked. Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole really helping me out at the end of that one. If otherwise, I might have put up a donut there. We've never had one of those up to this point, win or lose. So
Yeah.
We'll see if this one's any different. But let's move to the first match on the card. It's the only non-title match of the 6 matches on the card so far. And it is a rivalry match from Friday Night Smackdown as Liv Morgan goes one-on-one with Carmella. Now, this story has been one where, Carmella, the established veteran, several years of experience on the main roster, a former SmackDown Women's Champion, former Miss Money, actually 2-time
Miss Money in the Bank. She will correct you.
Yes, she will. Believes that, she should be the front and center. She should be the number one contender. She should be at the forefront. Liv Morgan trying to go out and prove that she belongs not just on this roster, but also in the main event picture. She deserves to be getting a shot at the SmackDown Women's title. At this stage, this is only going to be Liv Morgan's second singles match at a pay-per-view. Big moment for her career.
Yeah, didn't you say over 7 years that she's had a tag partner, but now she's doing it now twice? This will be her second time being solo.
Well, this is only her second singles match at a pay-per-view. Her first one was at the WrestleMania in which it was empty arena, 36. She did defeat Natalya in the pre-show, but did technically get a singles match on the pay-per-view card. So I guess technically she's undefeated, but we're going to have to see how much she's truly shown, because it's been well over a year and a half since that match. And we all know that Carmella's no slouch. She absolutely is capable of performing in the ring. She's goaded Liv every step of the way, including helping Zelina Vega get a win over Liv on SmackDown last night.
I feel like Liv Morgan has nothing to really prove. We've seen her come full circle. I know for the longest time she's had Ruby and Sarah, but at this point we've also seen her go solo and try to work with others. I feel like she can get in there and she can mix it up with anybody. And really, in my opinion, I feel like she's been underappreciated and she's not been I don't feel like she's gotten the shots that she's deserved to actually be in these title pictures. So this is why I'm wishing the best for her. And hey, she's hot. I mean, not saying nothing against Carmella, but
are you defining that against the most beautiful woman in all of WWE, self-proclaimed?
That's what she proclaimed.
We got Alyssa laughing back there.
To each is their own. I'm not saying Carmella's not beautiful because she really is. I'm just saying I feel like Liv deserves what she gets. I feel like she deserves the best. And Carmella's had the best, you know.
Well, this is truly the chance for Liv to step out of those shadows of her former tag team partners. Because, of course, Sarah and Ruby have each gone their own separate way.
Mm-hmm.
But Liv, if she wants to truly say that I belong to take on the likes of the Sasha Bankses, the Becky Lynches, the Bianca Belairs, this is a match she has to win. This is a match where she can absolutely boost her career with a win, but it can drop right back down to where she's back in catering if she loses. Also, with the draft coming up, you never know how that's going to work out. So we'll see how it pans out. But we get to our official predictions. I'm currently still ahead, so therefore I go first. I am going to go with Liv Morgan. I feel like, she's ready for this moment. She's been preparing for this moment. She's been in some of these big matches. She's been in Money in the Bank. She's been in Elimination Chamber. Of course, she's competed at WrestleMania, granted with no crowd. But, I think she's ready for this moment, and I think she is tired of being the person who says, I'm just another pretty blonde, I'm just another pretty face, I deserve to be spoken among the best on the SmackDown roster. Carmella is definitely going to have all the underhanded tactics. Likely Zelina Vega is going to be over there helping her as well, but I do think Liv finds a way to pull it out.
I feel like, in my opinion, I'm kind of glad you said that. I feel like Carmella, we have seen her as a heel and as a face, and I honestly feel she's a good heel, but she's a good face, but she's an even better heel. I feel like she is going to find some underhanded and tactic ways of getting what she wants or to one-up Liv one more time. But in my opinion, I feel like you only live once, so let's go ahead and pull for I'm pulling for Carmella, and it's nothing against Liv. I'm just saying she's got something up her sleeve. I feel like she's got people in the back who are willing to help her. I don't really see that for Liv. I feel like Liv is going out there and she's going to be on her own by herself in the ring with herself, Carmella, and then probably some of the other people in the back of the roster.
You're taking officially Carmella.
I'm taking Carmella.
All right, so we're going opposite ends to start things off. I like it. We have too many pay-per-views where we pick the same till we get to the very end. I got a gut feeling from her shirt, though, that I don't think we're going to be picking the same in the last match, but a little bit later. Something we didn't mention before we get any further, though, of course, we're still in Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. We've got our Connor's Cure stuff that we've been promoting all the time. We are, of course, doing a donation for every person that watches our show. We are going to do a donation at the end of the month to the V Foundation on behalf of Connor's Cure. There have been several things through the Mania Club. They've been giving away signed T-shirts. Kia's got one of them, a Shotzi Blackheart shirt that she got. They're doing a contest right now where if you do just a $5 donation, you're in the running to get a SummerSlam foldable chair that they had from the live event. It's got a picture of Roman Reigns and John Cena on it. A bunch of good stuff, and obviously what it's going to is a great cause. So, if you've got an opportunity, if you got any friends that, haven't jumped in, shoot them a text message, have them jump in for just a couple of minutes, because each one of these people ups our donation that we're going to make at the end of the month.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned donations. So at the end of the show, I've got something I want to say, but I mean, it is what it is.
I'm not knowledgeable of this. This is all her.
It's all me.
All right, moving on to match 2. As I said, every other match is a championship match, and we move on, but we do stay on SmackDown. This one will be for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Certainly a rivalry of the last year or so, possibly making one last appearance on SmackDown as the reigning champions, the 7-time champs, and the members of the Bloodline, the Usos, will defend the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against former champions Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. Thank you. I drew a blank there for just a second. I'm so sorry, Dawkins. That's what happens when you don't show up on SmackDown. Okay, I know you had some nuptials to go attend, but at the same time, man, show up for work. The Street Profits.
First of all, that's no excuse. I'm going to kind of bust you out. I remember who the brothers are. You should remember them too, or they're going to bring smoke to your doorstep, and I'm not going to be here for it.
If they show up at our doorstep, I might be worth the smoke. But anyway, take this one for us.
Here's the thing. With this, everybody knows that I love my tag team division. It's not going to change. For me, I feel like the Usos, they've come in. I've seen them since day one, and yes, that is a reference. They have been legit badasses, and yes, I'm going to say that. But also, we've seen Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford come from NXT to the main roster, and they've literally been a house on fire. It's like
That's why there's so much smoke.
That's exactly it. After that fire's put out, there's the smoke to that house. My thing is, I liked, and what I did see, because I've been working, is that when the Prince came back and needed assistance. I don't think he asked for it, but it looked like it was him against the Usos and Roman. These fellas came out and they kind of evened the odds to help the Prince. So I felt like that was a good one-up for the match. But in my opinion, I don't know who I'd pick.
We'll get to the predictions here in just a second. It is going to be curious to find out, though, what kind of condition are the Street Profits going to be in, considering what happened last night on SmackDown. Of course, with Dawkins not at SmackDown, Montez Ford opening his mouth a little, talking about, the head of the table, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Acknowledge me. But
did he really say that?
Just like that, too.
Just like that.
Did I do it well? Roman, did I do it justice? Or Montez, either one. But, and of course, because he ran his mouth, Roman Reigns immediately turned into his special counsel and says, I want Montez tonight. And he gave him, and Montez put up a good fight, a fantastic fight, a great funny segment in there of Montez going to stand on the announcer's table and then the thing falls in before he can even get on it. Pat McAfee talking about my fat ass dancing on it, probably broke it. So a very good moment if you haven't gone back and saw it. But, as was expected, Roman does win the match by guillotine submission. And then they basically lay out Montez afterwards until the Demon shows up to even the odds. But at this point, you have to wonder how much damage is Montez taking. You already know that he's a high flyer. He needs his entire body working. But he's definitely not going to be stepping into the match tomorrow at 100% against a fully unified and honestly maybe the best Usos we've seen up to this point.
Now, see, I've seen them kind of go through the evolution of the Usos from the moment they started with their culture up till now, and they went through the whole hip-hop and rap look, which they're still kind of stuck with, and they had the long hair. And then the thing that shocked me is when they came out, and I said, ooh, they look fine. Those are the Usos. They cut their hair. I've been through that whole evolution with them. And then it's just, I don't know. I feel like for this, I feel like, I don't even know what to say for this. But
You're up first on this one, so your prediction on this one?
So my prediction, and as much as I love Street Profits, and I do, I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with them. I feel like, for me, Montez, every time he gets hurt, injured, damaged, his body I feel like he comes back the next day, and you can't tell that he's been injured from the previous night because he puts on such a hell of a fight in any time he fights against anybody. But the point of it is, my thing is, I'm pulling for the Usos.
Okay. Just knowing full well that Montez is not going to be at 100% gives the Usos the advantage. They may have already had the mental advantage anyway, knowing that Roman's in their corner, albeit Roman's going to be getting ready for a match himself. But the Street Profits have proven time and time again that they are capable of being able to handle the bright lights. They've won at WrestleMania. They've retained and defended at WrestleMania before. So, you've got two of the best that are out here. Also, let's just say the black power in this match. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. You're seeing it all. You're seeing it all over the place in wrestling now. You saw the great match on the end of Monday Night Raw this past week with Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, and Big E. Amazingly, Lashley and Big E not even on this card. Just a little side note there. I can't believe that match isn't happening here. But, just continuing to show up and show out that, your race and your gender don't really matter. Mm-hmm. As long as you can do well in the ring and keep fans entertained. And this will be one of those where I guarantee you before we're done, we're going to hear that "this is awesome" chant from the crowd. But I do believe by one single step, and yes, I did mean that literally, the ones, Usos retain.
Yes.
So, how's the lighting? The lighting from the outside window keeps going out. Can you see us?
Yeah, you look
Okie
good.
dokie.
You can see the screen and y'all look okay.
Fantastic. Well, this should be the best view of the screen I think they've ever had on one of our shows. So fantastic. We move on to our third match, and again, this one will be our first one moving us back to Monday Night Raw, and it is for the Raw Women's Championship as the Queen, Charlotte Flair, now in her, I believe, 12th run as main roster world champion, has her toughest title defense to this point as she takes on the demonic Alexa Bliss. Bliss, of course, a former 5-time champion herself, certainly no slouch, but it has actually been almost 3 years since Alexa last held a women's championship in WWE. Charlotte, meanwhile, has had 6 reigns during that period of time, albeit 3 of them lasting less than a day. So, take that for what you will. But this has been a back and forth where Charlotte's like, it's time, I'm sick of seeing this childhood Alexa. I'm tired of seeing this particular one that's playing with dolls and offering me Charlie the doll and everything else. Charlotte wants the Alexa of old. The Alexa that was 5 feet of fury, would do whatever it took, any underhanded tactics. That's the Charlotte that she wants, or that's the Alexa that Charlotte wants to see at Extreme Rules, the question is which one is going to show up, because it is important to note that Alexa has not taken a pinfall or submission loss in almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
So how does this pan out?
I feel like for me, Charlotte's good. Charlotte's great. I mean, obviously, it is what it is. She is the queen, and
couldn't stop myself.
by the way, I kind of, if y'all are noticing, I did
Braided her
braid
hair.
I braided the hair. But let me get back to my point. My point is, I feel like Charlotte is holding this title, and I feel like she's giving it the prestige that it needs. But also, like you said, Alexa has not held it in 3 years. So I feel like at this point it might be her time, but I also feel like Alexa, what I'd like to see, and Charlotte made a valid point saying I haven't seen Alexa of old. I did like the transitions when they were doing it a couple of months ago, where she went from cheerleader Alexa to this Alexa to just like different Alexas across the board. I'd like to see that transition happen again, at least over the next couple of months, where she kind of, you don't know which Alexa is coming out to actually play with you, if it's this one, the cheerleader, the one with the sprinkles and the sparkles and everything. But it is what it is. But I feel like Alexa has been doing fairly well with this. Like, let's put it like this. She has carried this story ever since Bray has left. And, you know, we know why he left, and it is what it is. I'm hoping he's good and well.
Agreed.
But she has carried this storyline to perfection by herself on her playground with Lily. And I know people say, oh, it's just a doll, this and that. I feel like that doll, that Lily, not the doll, Lily has special powers. And I feel like those special powers have been assisting Alexa more or less. I don't know if Charlotte's mad because Alexa has some assist, but it is what it is. But if you're the queen, you don't need no assist. You have yourself, and that's all you need.
The one thing that we've noticed throughout the story is that Charlotte has not been fazed at all by Alexa's mind game.
No.
She has gone in and said, look, I'm not about the smoke and mirrors. I'm not about the playground. I'm not about the dolls. I'm not about the toys. I'm all about holding the Raw Women's Championship. And she holds it, as you said, with such prestige and such pride that she's going to do what it takes. From a physicality standpoint, Charlotte easily has the edge. She's bigger, she's faster.
Taller.
You know, I would even argue the flying advantage is likely pretty even across the board. But you don't know what kind of sadistic parts that Alexa is willing to go to, because we have not seen her have the opportunity, except for once, to get a shot at the championship. And ultimately that match ended up not panning out as she drew it up. But we've seen her beat former and current champions in singles matches with very little difficulty needed. So Alexa definitely has the capability, and you wonder, maybe is Charlotte going into this just a little overconfident because she knows, okay, well, I've beaten Alexa before, and none of her smoke and mirrors scare me, and if I can get past that, then I really don't have anything to worry about. So you move into the predictions on this match, and this is one where I've really had a hard time looking at this as to where does WWE want to go with this, because with the draft coming up 5 days later, you wonder, who do you want your Raw Women's Champion to be going into it, because of course whoever's holding the title is likely staying on the brand. So who do you want representing Monday Night Raw as your Women's Champion? And in my opinion, I do feel like that you're starting to see a transition in the way that WWE booking is happening, in terms of who they're bringing out there, more fan popular, heel or face, are starting to get more championship opportunities. They're pushing more of the popular people that we've seen, and I do believe this sets up for a possible surprise out of here. I do think a demonic power and maybe a little Lily and maybe a little Charlie gets involved in here, but I do see a title change here. I do like Alexa Bliss. You've pushed this for almost 2 years now.
Exactly.
It's time to have this culminate with her holding and having an absolute stranglehold with her demonic powers on that Raw Women's Championship. I like Alexa winning this one.
I mean, I love the queen. She's confident. She has the ability. Like we said, she's stronger, taller, faster. And she doesn't even, what I love about it, she doesn't even use her last name to her advantage. She takes her athletic abilities and she puts it out there. This is me. This is who I am. Yes, I might be a Flair, but that's not all that there is to me. So, yeah. But Alexa, in my opinion, I feel like, again, she's had this, story go where she was working with Bray and then he ended up leaving, and now she's been doing this thing by herself for a year, and we've seen her literally, I feel like she's run roughshod kind of through everybody, but she's been doing it from the mindset of this Alexa, demonic Alexa, and there's been very little difficulty, and she's had very little effort in getting people out. Asuka, of all people, is supposed to be one of the people that you cannot take down, and she took down Asuka. So my thing is, I feel like Alexa does have a bit of advantage. I feel like she can get into the mind of Charlotte, But I feel like she has a card up her sleeve where she hasn't pulled out everything that she had. I feel like Alexa for the win, and it's nothing against Charlotte, but I feel like there will be one thing that Charlotte is missing, because yes, I feel like she's going in a little bit confident, more overconfident than normal, and I feel like Alexa is going to take advantage of that and use it to her strengths.
Okay, so you like Alexa as well.
I do, very
All
much
right.
so.
Plus, I mean, you really gonna tell her something different? We're not.
I mean, like, that'd be a little fun little, I guess, side piece to have, like, while they're wrestling in the ring, you have the two little dolls wrestling on the outside.
Did you see Lily and Charlotte out there? They have
Charlie.
a little CGI. They'll be out there, you know, like
Yeah,
Rock'em
fighting.
Sock'em robots or something.
Yeah.
Trademark. Think fast. So, staying on Monday Night Raw, it moves us to our fourth match. It is a slide that's not transitioning. Hey, that's what happens when you do things live. But, all right, here we go. A triple threat match for the United States Championship. The champion, Damian Priest, who has had no trouble doing his open challenges and has had no trouble saying, I want my name to live on forever, I want my legacy to live forever, and I'm going to defend against anyone and everyone. It was originally supposed to be a one-on-one match with one of his challengers, Sheamus, but because Sheamus lost a match last Monday to Jeff Hardy in singles competition, Jeff Hardy getting added to this match, now making it a no disqualification triple threat, aka Extreme Rules, without actually calling it Extreme Rules. But either way, triple threat for the United States Championship.
I feel like seeing all three of these guys, this has been my past, this has kind of been my future, and now this right here, this middle person, Priest, is the present. I feel like he is holding that title, and he's holding it with prestige, and I know prestige has been thrown around just a little bit between, you know, myself and a couple other people I've been talking to online, but you have someone who's come up from NXT, like these two characters who've come up from NXT, and I think they've brought the best of the best with them, and I don't see how, you know, picking between these three, who you could pick, because it all brings something different. Sheamus brings that whole Irish, I'm going to kick your butt, I'm a fighter, I will fight you. Jeff Hardy just brings his own little, he's got hype, he's got smoke, he's got what he has, and then Priest is just, you don't scare me, I'm leathers, I'm chained, I'm cool, I'm legit, I'm badass, I'm going to hold my title, and you're just going to have to come fight for it. And that's the open challenges that, you know, we've been seeing. He hasn't backed down from one person. So that makes it to where he is, to me, I feel like he's a fighting champion and he's doing the right thing. Now, do I feel like it's kind of the Cena thing? Yes, but I hate to say it, I think he's a little bit better looking than Cena, but it is what it is.
Wow, and that's coming from you.
That's coming from me. Sorry, Cena!
Cena fanatic.
Yep.
If Cena responds, you know, you will probably
Die on the spot.
Just down she goes.
I will pass away, as Alyssa likes to say.
That's it, just swoon and everything. But you're absolutely right. You know, Damian Priest is sitting here saying he knows the prestige of the United States Championship. He knows the honor and the number of Hall of Famers that have held that championship. And it's not like this is his first triple threat match against former world champions. He's defended against Sheamus, and he's also defended against Drew McIntyre, a recent WWE champion. So Damian Priest has most certainly been willing to go up there against the best of the best and says, hey, I can't be the best United States champion and have my name live forever if I don't take on the best. So he welcomed the match becoming a triple threat. Of course, Sheamus not a huge fan of it, but Damian welcomed the opportunity to take on, first of all, one of his idols in Jeff Hardy, but then also a chance to have another match against Sheamus, and now he gets them both at the same time. Of course, the triple threat rules, you know, allow for no disqualifications. Priest does not have to be involved in the pin in order to lose the championship, and that'd be an awful way for him to lose that first title reign. But you're up first. Who you got?
I'm picking Priest to retain. There, that's all. I mean, I really don't have no explanation. That's all it is. It is.
Triple threat rules are very much similar to that. You know, it's kind of just right place, right time. A little bit of luck gets involved. Priest could very well do all the work, and then Sheamus could swoop in and get the pin. Hardy could very well do the same. You just wondering again with the, you know, you have to wonder again with the draft coming up, who do you want as your United States champion? Now, of course, the mid-card titles, the U.S. and the Intercontinental, have been known to shift during the draft. So, you know, just because, you know, Priest retains or Sheamus or Hardy wins, doesn't necessarily mean they're staying on Raw. It could easily be moved to SmackDown.
Yep.
So we'll see how it turns out. But just nothing about this match. Hardy thrown in at the last minute. Just, you know, it doesn't seem like it's fitting there for it to change. And they're wanting this run with Priest to, you know, seem legit. I think if you're going to have Sheamus get multiple opportunities at it, you know, it kind of makes no sense to see a title change here. I do think this is going to be one of the more brutal matches you're going to see, and I think with the no disqualification rules, I think you're going to see that potentially come into play. But I agree. It doesn't make any sense for a title change here. I'd like Priest to retain as well.
Yep.
Cool. How we doing so far? What do you think? Are we getting them right, getting them wrong? We always love you guys throwing some comments down below. If we see anything, of course, Miss Alyssa will, let us know if any fun comments come by that we want to address. But, and of course, if you're watching this on YouTube later on, throw your comments down below as to your predictions. Who do you think's going to win?
And why?
Of course.
I want explanations.
Yes, I want reasons.
Well,
All right.
Somebody said Charlotte was going to win, but they didn't put an explanation. So.
No explanation. We don't, whatever. No, I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and that's the joy of all of this is, our opinion's no better than anyone else's, nor do we claim it to be. The only difference is we get on camera and we talk about it.
I just like good conversations, though.
Absolutely.
I like seeing why. I like picking your brain, picking your mind. Why do you pick these people? What do you see? What could you see? So for me, I feel like it's just genuine good conversation between wrestling fans.
Absolutely. So our co-main events will be coming up here, and they both come from SmackDown. We had to really think about it, but with the Extreme Rules setting of Demon and Roman being the, kind of the headliner, that kind of makes them the main event. So it does move us on to our co-main event, which is for the SmackDown Women's Championship, as the man, Big Time Bex, welcome back, Becky Lynch, will defend the SmackDown Women's Championship against former champion, the EST, Bianca Belair.
So here's how I feel about this. She had been teasing for the longest after her pregnancy. Let me go ahead and put it out there. I wish I had the trainer that, Brandy Rhodes, Becky Lynch, everybody that has had a baby over the last year, I wish I had their trainers, because have we seen how their bodies went from fine pregnant to back to regular bodies?
If you want to see another one, Lacey Evans. And Lacey Evans working out on a farm and doing it on her own, and she's showing her workout videos while she was still pregnant. So, I'm in complete agreement. I'm not pregnant. I'm shaped like it. But, it's... Would love to still have the trainer though. I need to lose a little bit of this. It's getting a little chunky on the edges.
But back to the point I was saying, Becky Lynch has been teasing, every pay-per-view, every wrestling event that she was going to come back. So we got hyped for it. We were prepared for it. And then let me tell you, the moment she came back, I was not even at home for this. So I was kind of disappointed. I had to see the replay. So she came back. I can tell you, I was excited. I was in tears. Y'all know how much I love Becky Lynch. I even cosplayed as her. That's how much I love her. But the thing is...
Bianca's going to happen soon, though, right?
Yeah, I already know which one I'm doing for her. But that is another story for another time. I'm thinking she came back, and I was like, Bianca has this title on lock, had it wrapped up, everything was great, EST, the bestest, strongest, fastest, toughest, everything you could imagine. And then the underhanded tactic of, let me shake your hand.
Yeah, I know how this turns out.
Let me shake your... Y'all didn't see that far away. I'm saying Bianca, that was
that receipt.
That, and Becky had nothing against her. It's just it was what it was, and you saw her face after that. I am smart, the smartest woman on the roster, and I fell for this. I cannot believe it. I feel like Bianca is gonna go back and she's gonna fight for this title, and she's gonna do everything she needs to get her title back because it belongs with her.
Well, a lot of comparisons to Bianca's 26-second loss to Becky Lynch. A lot of Kofi Kingston comparisons with how he lost the WWE Championship to Brock a few years ago. But I do feel like in terms of character development with Bianca, still young, still very wet behind the ears. She's definitely, she even made mention of it. I've done everything you've done. I've won the Royal Rumble. I've won the championship. And I did it all in a quarter of the time that you needed. And yet here I am now main eventing WrestleMania, just like you. Here I am, in one of the main events of SummerSlam, just like you. So, and again, it's saying I've done it in a fourth of the time that you needed to get that far.
But do we know why?
Because she's the EST.
That's right.
But, it was a good in terms of character development. You can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And Becky Lynch, despite the fact of whether she's been face, she's been heel, she's been the man, she's been the Irish last kicker, doesn't matter. She has proven time and time again, and she had to learn this lesson when she first got to the main roster, that not everyone is going to be nice, and when it comes to that championship, you will do whatever you have to do to get it. There are no friends, there are no allies, it's just you. And Bianca had to learn that lesson the hard way, and probably one of the more embarrassing losses of her career, but she's going to hopefully be able to learn from it.
My feeling is, when you paired with Sasha, here's the thing. There's nothing against her. She's still learning because she is young. I'm thinking you were paired with Sasha. Did Sasha not teach you anything? When you hold a title, it does not matter. whether, you're holding a title, you do not let no one take it from you. You have to be on the lookout and have your head on a swivel at all times. I know Sasha had to have drilled that, lesson in, but I guess, somewhere along the line, she must have not thought about it. I guess she thought Becky was coming back, so Bianca was like, there's no way. But also, Becky pretty much made it a point. She pretty much taught you a lesson. So hopefully in the future, when you believe that someone is, trying to be friendly, as nice as Bianca is, she's gonna have to get to the point where my title is my title. I'm not falling for nothing.
The W on the front of the belt might as well be a bullseye, because
that's exactly
anybody,
it
doesn't matter, friend, foe, ally, bitter enemy, everybody wants to be champion. At the end of the day, because you've heard Triple H say it for years, if you're not here to be champion,
then why
get out of my door.
Exactly. Why are you here?
Exactly. So Bianca has had to learn this one, but I feel like she has taken it in stride, and she's tried until yesterday. She tried to be respectful every step of the way, tried to continue to keep her composure, and Becky Lynch has wasted no time disrespecting her every step of the way. Slaps in the faces, making fun of her and attacking her in her hometown after she was given, the key to the city and the hero's welcome back and everything else. Ironically, on a Smackdown that was supposed to originally be in Atlanta, but we get day one, so I'll take the pay-per-view. That's a little side note for us. But, this has, a potential match of the night written all over it, because we know the capability of these two in the ring, and now you're going to get an opportunity without it being a last-minute throw-together and a last-minute squash, because the only thing I can guarantee, and this is not a prediction, it's a spoiler, this match will take longer than 26 seconds. But we do move to our prediction. I'm up first on this one. I love Bianca. I love Becky. I love them both, and I, hate to see a match like this because it means one of them's going to have to lose. But I feel like, everybody knows the talent level, of course, the huge excitement, because they're trying so hard to get people to boo Becky, because she's playing the heel role and she's doing wonderfully while she does it.
Yeah.
They're trying to get the crowd to hate her, and they're trying to get the crowd to dislike her, and they just won't do it. Like, anytime she's supposed to be booed, it's either silence or it's cheers. Meanwhile, Bianca, who is supposed to be the straight face in this entire storyline, is getting booed everywhere except in Knoxville. Because, people, that's how much respect Becky Lynch has with the WWE Universe. She's been gone a year and a half, immediately came back, and on her first night back won a championship, over 460 active days as consecutive as champion. Mm-hmm. Because remember, she never lost the title. She gave it up to be pregnant, and then won it back on her first night active back on the roster. And I don't feel like you use that setup for this to be an immediate switch back over to Bianca. I do think it's going to be underhanded. I do think that Becky's going to have to resort maybe to a little bit deeper of the bag of tricks that she's usually having to use. But I don't see a title change here. Bianca's going to definitely hold that gold again at some point. I 100% guarantee it. But Becky retains.
So I was fine until you told me about the disrespect in Bianca's hometown, and I said, I'm used to Becky doing that, and it is what it is, because she is a heel, so I'm used to that. But when someone's getting awarded in their hometown, that should be the last place you disrespect a person. Now, if you want to do it in the ring and you want to do it everywhere else, that's fine, but not in their hometown in front of the people that actually have watched them grow up. Now, on the other hand, I could see that title being retained by Becky, because she is going to. You have to think, before, she was one of the 4 horsewomen who was overlooked and underappreciated.
It was always Becky. It was always the one out of the 4 that seemed to get overlooked.
She was overlooked and underappreciated. So for her, I don't know if that still sits in the back of her mind, but in my opinion, if that is, she's going to strive to hold this title. Plus, again, she was Becky 2 belts for the longest time. She never really gave up this SmackDown title. I think it was taken from her. Now, the Raw, she was pregnant and she handed it to Asuka through, the means that she did. Now, in my opinion, as much as I love Becky Lynch, I'm going to have to pull for Bianca. I feel like Bianca, that disrespect will not sit well with her, and I don't know if she's going to use that braid to whip her with, or she's going to use that hair, because that is a part of her body. She can use that without it being a disqualification. The disrespect that you showed me, it's not going to fly, and you can't slap me in the face and think everything's going to be cool, and you want me to learn. I feel like this was a learning experience, but I feel like the title that Bianca, lost in 26 seconds, the women's title for SmackDown, I feel like she will get that back. I don't know how it's going to happen. I feel like Bianca has something in her mind that we don't know. We haven't seen. Honestly, I'm going to need her to become the fiercest that I've seen her be in a while. So
and again, we've talked multiple times about the draft. you know, everybody, it's no mystery, you know, that Monday Night Raw, with the exception of this past one where Roman was on there, it's been having trouble holding ratings. You know, maybe Bianca pulls back the title and you move Becky to Raw, knowing full well that Becky's going to bring viewers with her.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I was
you look at the rivalries over there. Becky and Charlotte have had more rivalries than we can count. You put Becky up against the new Alexa. You know, I mean, there's a number of great stories over there that you can immediately put Becky into, and Bianca has proven since this last WrestleMania, she is more than capable of holding that championship with pride and representing it well. So definitely possible, but we're going opposite ends on this one.
I want to see what she comes out in. You know
you know the outfit, first of all, that she's going to make. But you know it's going to fly. It's going to be fly.
Also, if you do not follow Bianca, follow her on her channel. She makes her own outfits. You see how she does everything, and it's great. Go follow her.
The wonderful part for Bianca, and we've talked about this here on this show, she has a career even after the wrestling world, when her wrestling time is over. And, you know, let's say she wants to, you know, just go do something else. She wants to have children. She wants to do another career. She's got something that she could be able to do for WWE that she could do well past her wrestling days because of how good she is at it.
Do you feel like she could be, what's her name?
Sandra.
Do you feel like she could be the next Sandra?
I think she could be better than Sandra. And that's no disrespect. Sandra's good, but you know what? She's still young, you know. Maybe she'd be the sewist or, you know, the seamstress. You know, I don't know if that's a word or not. That was not spelled correctly.
But we got it. Moving on.
Let's move on to our main event, and it is for the Universal Championship on Smackdown, the only Extreme Rules match on the card. And here we go. It started already.
Here I go.
And Alyssa wants to walk over and wants to, you know, rub on him too, but she would be rubbing on the other side, I believe.
For Alyssa.
Thank you so much. I think you need to put more passion.
Don't go any further. Paul's over there, but.
Put some passion in that thing now.
We done?
Kidding.
We good?
Yeah, I'm
kidding.
Yeah. But as I said, the only Extreme Rules match on the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, I kind of roll my eyes at that one. But again, for the Universal Championship, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, the Universal Champion for well over a year, acknowledge me, Roman Reigns defending against the undefeated Demon Finn Balor. Now, of course, you know, we've already had one championship match between Roman Reigns and Finn Balor. It was originally supposed to happen at SummerSlam, but, you know, antics of Corbin and Cena ultimately led to the match end up happening on SmackDown a couple of weeks later. Roman, through a little bit of underhanded tactics, managing to get the win over Finn, but it unleashed the Demon that we have not seen in almost 3 years. And, of course, the Demon, since joining the main roster, is undefeated. So this could be Roman's toughest test up to this point. Also with the draft coming up, not knowing if the Usos are going to be able to stick around, he has been actively making it a point to make sure that he is known as the best champion, going over to Monday Night Raw and defeating not just the WWE champion Big E, but also the almighty Bobby Lashley as well. And, you know, I mean, Roman is making sure it's clear that he is the dominant force, not just on SmackDown, but on WWE.
From what I'm getting and what I've heard, because we have people that come through the hotel, Crown Plaza, that's where I work. We have people come through, they're soccer fans, football fans, wrestling fans, and they told me, and I got home and I heard the same thing from Alyssa and Steve, that the best thing on Raw this week was Roman.
What does Raw stand for now, Alyssa?
Roman always wins.
That's right, Roman always wins.
Such a schoolgirl.
Anyway.
Continue.
So anyway, I feel like the Demon coming back and doing his thing again. He has never lost in Demon form. This is his. This is like, what is it? This is like him saying, "I'm coming to get you. I'm going to beat you. You're not getting the Prince. You're not getting the King. You're not getting anybody else. You're getting the Demon. You're going to have to face him." He brings mental games, mind games. He brings everything to the ring, and he is no slouch. Now, Roman, on the other hand, is no slouch either. We have had to think about how many times have we seen Roman when he was with the Shield. He was tough, he was strong, he was there, but he didn't really get to speak. He didn't get to say much. I feel like out of all the Shield members, I feel like he was the one that was underappreciated and undervalued. So getting to see this side of Roman, letting him speak freely, letting him do his own thing, letting him finally be heel, and as much as people say, "Oh, I hate it," that's probably the best.
You know what? Eyes are on TVs and asses are in seats.
But this is the best Roman. His evolution, he's come full circle. This is the best Roman I have seen since he has stepped foot in WWE. So as much as I'm for the Prince, I think it's going to be like a knockdown drag out. I feel like these two are going to bring it. The heat, the smoke, the fire, the whatever, the head of the table, whatever you want to say, they're going to bring it. Now, you want to know what I think is going to be funny? Paul Heyman on the side, watching his facial expressions,
Oh,
watching them.
He is a mood in of himself.
He is a GIF, a meme, as Alyssa likes to say. So I'm excited about just seeing that. I know that's really sad, but still.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, this is the best Roman we've seen since he started, and it's not like he just started doing this. I mean, his evolution of his character has continued to get better and better and better. And like I said a minute ago, he puts eyes on TVs and asses in seats.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to in WWE. If you're doing that, you're successful. You are good at your job, and the fact is, wherever Roman goes, eyes, views, people go with him.
Also, since you said that, isn't he the one that's selling the most merchandise on WWE right now?
The Bloodline, technically, but
okay.
yes.
Okay.
Wonderful shirt, by the way. If you haven't seen it, WWE Shop, you get a free shout out on this show. Everyone, but the one thing I've noticed though is, despite the fact that the Demon has come out and everything else, Roman doesn't seem that phased.
It's just like
he just sees him as another challenger, another person that I'm gonna have to put down.
To level.
Underneath me, to remind people this is my island, this is my Smackdown, this is my WWE, and most importantly, this is my Universal Championship.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you worry about with Roman Reigns is lately he has put a ton on his own table in terms of making sure that his family is no longer disrespected. He went to Raw with the Usos to challenge the New Day after they had some words about the Bloodline, and then he took on Bobby Lashley and Big E himself, both of those in victorious fashion. Then he comes out and voluntarily takes on a match with Montez Ford just 2 days before an Extreme Rules match where anything goes. He also knows that Brock Lesnar's waiting in the distance. He's got his table relatively full right now, and you have to wonder at what point even the greatest of warriors and the greatest of athletes eventually start cracking and start wearing down after a while. Is this going to be where maybe Roman's bitten off just a little more than he can chew, and he's up against the right opponent who is going to be in demon form and will not let up unless he is just completely knocked out?
So, I know we saw a match where the Prince was on NXT and told Tyrion but this was the Prince, is like, don't let your emotions get the better of you. I feel like that was the Prince giving you advice. I don't think the Demon will give Roman advice. And I'm not saying Roman needs the advice, but I don't think Roman would do what he's doing and be where he is. I feel like Roman has a full table. And I'm not talking about food, I'm just talking about opponents, where I feel like he will be fine. I don't see no cracks.
Well, this is Finn Balor basically going against his own advice in carrying, because when he was back in NXT, he never unleashed the Demon at any time. He said, I've been able to, harness those emotions and be able to make those into great moments, but I'm not going to allow my emotions to get the better of me. Well, the Demon is the polar opposite of that. He is all emotion. He is all anger. He is all fierceness. And he's going to unleash it all, which is why it makes him so much tougher in this Demon form than it is in his standard Prince form. So, you're looking at this, add the Extreme Rules stipulation, which means the Usos can get involved, Street Profits can get involved, Brock Lesnar can potentially get involved, Paul Heyman himself can get involved, a number of different ways, and that's not even including Roman and the Demon Finn on his own. This is going to be a very ugly match to watch, not quite up to Mysterio Rollins knocking eye out from last year, but, it's still going to be, it's your main event for a reason, and it absolutely should be. Moving on to our choices, I don't think we're going to need long to get your pick on this one, but go for it. You're up first.
We're looking at the shirt. I'm picking the Demon. The Demon is who I pick. Don't get me wrong, Roman has been the best of the best, and he's great, but I feel like the Demon and all this emotion and aggression and, everything that he brings with him, I feel like, Roman has held that title long enough. I believe it needs to come back to... You heard what I said, Alyssa. I made that comment. I feel like the title needs to come back to the Demon. I feel like he needs to carry it, but also at the same time...
Winning back the championship he never lost.
But actually, let me take it back. Roman, of all people, when he had that Raw title, gave the Demon his shot. So technically, this really isn't a factor in that. But I feel like this title that Roman is holding, as great as it looks on his chestless body... Shirtless body, you know what I meant. It's time for it to come home.
All right. Well, and I definitely, could see this match being one of those, where you could potentially see a swerve with the, because everybody keeps thinking, oh, Brock's going to get involved, especially under the Extreme Rules stipulations. But to me, it makes no sense for Brock to get involved unless he's going to help Roman, because no matter how you slice it at Crown Jewel, which will be the next pay-per-view we go over, ironically, it's on a Wednesday or a Thursday, I think. So that's going to be interesting for us, to say the least.
Yeah.
But, you know, if he wants the match to be for the Universal title, he needs Roman to retain because the match for Brock is not against the Universal Champion. It's against Roman Reigns, title or no title.
Yeah.
You know, so the match, you know, if he wants it to be for the championship, and that's what Brock's all about, he needs Roman to retain in this match. I don't see him getting involved in this unless it's after the match is over.
Yeah.
The Extreme Rules stipulation plays to the favor, honestly, of the Demon because he has proven that he has a very sadistic side, is capable of being able to handle a match with stipulation, and you also see that Demon is able to just go to that next level when he needs it. The problem is he's up against maybe arguably the only other person on the SmackDown roster who can do the exact same thing.
That's true.
Roman continues to keep finding new gears every single time, every single challenge. He continues to find a new way to be able to conquer his opponents. That's not to sit here and say that, you know, it is what it is, but Roman just continues to keep evolving himself into an even stronger gladiator as he goes along.
But that's what you want to see.
The only thing I'm going to know from a personal perspective, you know, from our scoreboard, you're down 3, okay? I'd be curious to go back and look over this entire year and wonder how many times have you picked against Roman Reigns. Let's see, I recall Edge, L. I recall Edge again, if memory serves me, L. I recall Daniel Bryan, L. You know, how many more times do you want to keep picking against the Tribal Chief and keep falling in this situation? And it's not going to be any different this time either. Roman is going to be ready for the moment. The Demon is going to absolutely push Roman to levels he has not had to go to up to this point, but it will be Roman by the slightest little edge being able to lead, you know, to beat out the Demon. The Demon will take his first loss. Roman, the head of the table, still the one and our Tribal Chief.
Okay, that's fine. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't think this will be a loss for me, but whatever. And I don't like how you put me on the spot. So you're on the couch tonight, man.
Oh boy, if that hurts. It's a nice new leather couch. I don't care.
And you said it's uncomfortable, so I don't want to hear that.
Uncomfortable if you lay sideways, but they don't care about any of that. That's our pay-per-view preview show for Extreme Rules. How'd we do? Do you agree? I know we had a person come in here about Charlotte, you know, talking about, you know, Charlotte, you know, winning over things. But you can keep hearing Alyssa over there. Keep mouthing Tribal Chief.
Okay,
you know, so she's definitely made her picks. But, you know, I know you got to head to work here in a little bit. College football's on. So for all of you who watched, we appreciate it. Let us know how we did. Enjoy Extreme Rules on Sunday. Take us home.
Okay, so I told you at the beginning of the show I had something I want to do. I'm going through my closet trying to clean it out. I have more than enough wrestling shirts. What I want to do is I want to actually I want to actually put them on Instagram and see who would like what shirt. What I'm doing, it's going to be all my epic throwback classic shirts for wrestling, and they're all size mediums, but this is to help children with cancer, the V Foundation, Connor's Cure, and everything else. So these will be like donation shirts, but you will have to pay, and we will do little bidding wars starting at $5 going up as far as, you know, we can go, and to the person that actually bids the most will get that shirt. Just understand they are in mediums, and we will be doing this, I'd say Sunday or Monday whenever I get my time off. With that being said, look forward to that. I can't wait, and don't forget, I didn't forget about you. Questions with the Queen will happen sometime soon. You have my word on that. Bye, y'all.
Bye.